Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast for this week. A couple reminders of things going on at the gym this week. Tomorrow, Monday, from 2 to 7, American Red Cross is bringing their blood mobile to the gym. And currently we have 15 people with appointments to donate, and our goal is 20. So if you haven't signed up, please consider signing up to donate blood, and that's tomorrow from 2 to 7. They do need you to make an appointment so that they know how to staff the blood mobile. We have links on both our Instagram and Facebook on how to, or the link for how to sign up to make that appointment. Also, this week, Wednesday, CJ, our favorite physical therapist, is coming to the gym. He will be there all day long. And we have a sign-up sheet at the gym. So if you have any kind of nagging pain or issues going on, we definitely recommend you set up an appointment with him. And again, the sign-up sheet is located on the counter at the gym. So this week's topic, Andrew, you mentioned mindset a lot. So what do you mean when you talk about mindset?
When I talk about mindset, usually when referring to the gym, I'm talking about how people view challenges and how they respond to challenges. So I believe that, mindset is probably the most important thing you can think about when you're trying to be, the best version of yourself, which I think that's the common thread for everybody that comes to the gym, is they're all trying to be the best possible versions of themselves. They know that exercise is a huge part of that, and if you're trying to learn a new skill or get better at something, challenges are always going to come up, and how you respond to these challenges is basically what I call mindset. And basically everybody falls into two categories: either growth mindset or fixed mindset.
All right, so what are characteristics of the growth mindset and the fixed mindset?
So let's say we'll start with the fixed mindset. We all kind of fall into both categories depending on what it is.
Okay.
And a lot of it has to do with our upbringing. Let's take the example. This is what I always, one of the examples that always stands out to me is older people, typically older people. I'm going to pick on y'all for a minute.
Shame.
Technology is really big nowadays. Like, everything has an app, and it just makes life that much easier when we're all interconnected. But older people, I hear it all the time, is when they're, trying to get on an app or do something on their phone, they always say, well, I'm just not a tech person. I'm not good at that, as if being good with technology is like a trait that you're born with.
Yeah.
Right? You either have it or you don't. And a fixed mindset person will think that, they don't have it. Other people do have it. And since they weren't born with it, they might as well not even try.
Okay.
Whereas the growth mindset person will, run into that challenge of, not knowing how to work an app or a piece of technology. They'll say, you know what? I see this as a way to grow and become better. If I put enough effort and energy into learning it and, learning how to operate the software, the phone, then I know that I can become better at it. And that is a growth mindset person. And we all need to strive to try to be growth mindset people.
Yeah. Okay. So what are some skills that we could use to get better at the right mindset, which sounds like that's the growth mindset?
Well, probably the biggest thing would be to recognize, when a challenge arises, to kind of step back, stop for a little bit, and analyze the situation.
Mm-hmm. So kind of be like self-aware.
Yeah, very much be self-aware. That's like the whole meditation thing, mindfulness, being in the present moment. If you could just stop and recognize the situation as it is, instead of getting frustrated, well, it's okay to be frustrated, but if you just stop and you recognize that, all right, this is a challenge. This is something I'm not good at, and then kind of think to yourself, how am I going to deal with this challenge? Instead of just giving up or going to find help from someone else, if you said to yourself, you know what, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to grow as a person and learn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for most people, the thought process probably isn't going to be, hey, I need to grow as a person. It's probably just going to be, okay, I shouldn't get frustrated about this. Let me just try to figure it out, right?
Yeah, well, you can also, practice. You could think back. I think everyone can think back to a time that they were frustrated when they were trying to do something and they couldn't do it.
Or it wasn't working out.
Right, it wasn't working out immediately for them. Everybody's seen this with kids if they've been around kids. If a kid is introduced to a sport like baseball or soccer and they're not immediately good at it, probably 99% of all kids are just going to quit. Right, because they're, I'm not good at this automatically. This kid's better than me, so I'm going to find something I am good at.
Right.
Instead of being praised for effort, they're praised for talent, and that's kind of the way the culture works, and it's really not conducive to growing strong-minded individuals.
Okay. So what are ways that we could implement mindset, like specific examples of ways to implement the growth mindset in both CrossFit and in other areas of life?
Have you ever heard, you're younger than me, but have you ever heard of, people saying, it's impossible to set a clock on a VCR?
Yes, I grew up with VCRs.
Yeah, or a stove or a microwave. I mean, that's just something small that you could start with.
Okay.
You always need to be learning, to keep the mind fresh.
So you mean like whenever the power goes off and your clock starts blinking, right? How to figure out how to
instead of just saying, "Oh, it's impossible to set a clock on a VCR." Go learn and
go figure it out.
Yeah, and then that'll show you that there's nothing that you can't learn with enough effort.
Yeah. So that's an example for the general, other areas of life. What about CrossFit?
Yeah, so I think most people know. I mean, very few people walk into a CrossFit gym or a CrossFit class and are just good at everything.
Unless you're frowning.
Well, I mean, probably he even had some stuff he struggled at. He fell off the rope. But he had a strong, if anybody goes and watches the games from probably 2013, I think, there was a rope climb event, and he was doing really well in the competition, and he failed at the rope climb event. Matter of fact, he fell all the way off the rope.
Ooh.
So that very next year, after losing the CrossFit Games, he went and he learned how to climb a rope, and he worked on climbing a rope. And then the next year, the games came around with the rope climb, and
he killed it.
Yeah, if he didn't win the event, then I'm sure he came pretty close because he won the entire games that year and, for 4 years to come straight. So he had the right mindset with it instead of saying, oh, I just wasn't good at climbing the rope. He went and struggled with it until he mastered it.
Yeah.
And I think most people, or a lot of people, they do that in CrossFit. Some people do just quit and give up because they're like, oh, I'm just not good at this, or people here are better than me at this, so this is just something or that's not for me, or whatever.
Sure.
But I think most people, if they think back to something that they didn't or they weren't good at when they first started, I've never seen anyone not get better at it. So if you've been doing it, you can think back to yourself, all right, what is something I can do now that I couldn't do when I first got there? I mean, sit-ups. I've known people that couldn't do sit-ups, and of course, now they're blowing through them. Like sit-ups are a rest exercise for most people there. So
yeah, and I guess with injuries, that same mindset could help you there as well.
Yeah, well, that has a lot to do with another skill that's similar to kind of thinking about mindset. It's called positive reframing.
Okay.
So, like, I'm injured a lot. So, let's say for me, I have a knee injury and I'm unable to do, you know, or build my squat for a period of time because I'm dealing with a knee injury. What am I going to do? Am I just going to say, oh, well, or am I going to reframe the situation and say, you know what? I'm really not as good at handstand push-ups or handstand walks as I should be. But guess what? Me dealing with this knee injury is going to allow me a lot more time to be able to work and improve at something that I need to improve at. So if I just take that situation and use it as a opportunity, right? Instead of,
Yeah, I'm feeling down about yourself.
exactly.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago I'd pulled my hamstring, and probably the first week or so I was kind of moping around and I was pretty bummed out about that, not being able to do what I was used to in the gym. But you were like, well, look at this as an opportunity to build your upper body strength. So whenever I would go to the gym, I'd still go every day, but I just wasn't doing what everybody else was. So you had me like do different, upper body exercises to still get better and improve. I just wasn't using my hamstring. Which, side note on that, CJ gave me rehab exercises for that hamstring, and now I don't have any issues with it. So, yay, CJ.
Yep, and he's working with me on my knee, and my knee's feeling pretty good.
Shameless plug.
Yep.
So how do you improve your growth mindset so we can try to, stop getting frustrated, recognize that we're getting frustrated before we just get really angry, right? And recognize that, okay, we need to try to just work through it instead of getting frustrated and give up, right? Or reframe the situation into a positive outlook. Is there any other ways that you would suggest improving your mindset?
Just practice.
Yeah.
Maybe take up mindfulness meditation so you can learn how to assess how a certain situation is making you feel. And instead of just reacting to something, you can really observe it and pay attention to the whole situation and act objectively instead of just out of emotion.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of a quote that I've seen is the mind is just like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. So I guess kind of the same.
Theodore Roosevelt, or maybe it was FDR. I think maybe it was FDR. Said men are not prisoners to their circumstances, or something like that. You're not prison to your circumstances, only to your own mind. It was, I don't know. I should have looked that up maybe before the podcast, but I thought that was a really good quote and very true.
Yeah.
How you view a situation is really how, is going to determine how well you respond to it. There's a talk on CrossFit.com about some Ironman competitions, and back when they were trying to break the 4-minute mile, there were people just struggling to break the 4-minute mile. This one guy got 4 minutes and 2 seconds twice in 2 attempts. 4 minutes and 2 seconds, and he just said to himself, you know what, I just can't break the 4-minute mile. And then another guy came up there who wasn't really supposed to even be in the same class as this guy, but his coach was just encouraging him. Was like, look, I think you can get 3:56 on the mile.
Wow.
There's nothing that, and he did it. He went out with that positive mindset and got a 3-minute and 56 mile.
Wow.
And it's not that anything changed physiologically between, humans or technology, because this was all like within a matter of months. Yeah. And then immediately after him, since he did it, another different human went and did the same exact time, 3:56 for a mile, something that had been struggling to happen happened twice by two different people.
Wow.
And all it was just positive thinking about the situation. So your mind controls everything that happens to you. Your entire experience, your entire life, every emotion you feel, every bad thing that happens, every good thing that happens to you occurs in your mind, every sensation. And it's up to you how you react to things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you don't want one little thing in the gym or any time in life, throughout your day. You don't want one little thing to ruin the rest of your day.
Yeah. It's your decision if you're unhappy. It's your decision if you're sad. It's your decision if you're happy. It's your decision if you're going to enjoy doing something or not.
Yeah.
The decision is yours, and it's all about how you view things.
Nice. I like that. So do you recommend any books on mindset? Do you know of any?
Yeah, a book called Mindset by Carol Dweck.
What was that name?
Carol Dweck.
Okay.
Deweck.
All right.
The book has a lot of examples of her working with children because she was a professor and a grade school teacher, and she worked with kids, and she would divide these kids, based on a questionnaire as to whether or not they had a growth mindset or a fixed mindset, and then she would give these kids tests that were just way above these kids, way above their ability to solve these problems. And the kids with the growth mindset always perform better. And then she would just work with kids and try to just praise effort instead of talent. Instead of telling a kid that did good at something that didn't really have to work real hard, maybe a kid that's just naturally good at math, she wouldn't praise them at all unless they actually worked hard to do something. She wouldn't say, "Oh, you're so good at math." She would just say, "Why don't we try harder? Why don't we work harder?" And then a kid maybe who didn't get the right answer, but that just, put a ton of effort into studying, she would praise that, and then they would put in even more effort. And she was taking kids from, lower income areas that generally had lower test scores and working with them. And if I remember correctly, they were like the top performers in the country.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
soon
awesome.
after working with them. So
Yeah.
mindset goes a long way. And, we're going to be doing an email series, and the very first foundational email that I'm going to be sending out to any new people that sign up just to try to cultivate a resilient athlete is going to be about mindset.
Okay.
And about, how to view challenges, because challenges are always going to arise in your life, and especially in your training.
Yep.
So.
Well, cool. I like it. Thank you.
All right. So programming for the week, we're going to go Monday, bench press, heavy set of 7, heavy set of 5, heavy set of 3. And then we have a partner workout. It's a 12-minute AMRAP. We're going to row max calories and max GHD sit-ups. Your score is going to be the total amount of reps you do. Both you and your partner can work at the same time. Switch whenever you want. Tuesday, we're going to be doing some tall cleans, 3 sets of 3, and then 3 sets of 3 hanging squat cleans, followed by 3 rounds. Each round is a 4-minute round. Going to run 200 meters, do 12 burpee box jump overs, and then max overhead squats at 115 for guys, 75 for the ladies. So whatever time you have left in that 4 minutes, you're going to be knocking out those overhead squats. Then you'll rest for 4 minutes, and that's for 3 rounds. Wednesday, we're going to do 5 sets of 5 dumbbell strict presses, and then followed by a 15-minute EMOM of max amount of wall balls on the first minute, and then a max amount of double unders on the second, and then we'll rest on that 3rd minute. So that's basically 5 rounds. Thursday, partners are going to complete. There's a 9-minute AMRAP. You can do a 12-calorie row, 8 toes to bar, 10 alternating single-arm dumbbell hang squat cleans. That's a mouthful. Rest 3 minutes. Then another 9-minute AMRAP, 15 air squats, 5 single-arm push presses on the right arm, 5 single-arm push presses on the left, and 8 pull-ups. Friday, another partner. Where this is like a partner week right here. Partners are going to split 2 rounds of 50 deadlifts at 275 for the guys, 165 for girls. 50 push jerks at 205 for guys, 135 for girls, and then an 800-meter partner barbell carry. So that one's looking spicy. So anyway, that's what we got.
And by the way, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Don't drink too much. Show up on Monday. We'll see y'all there.
Bye.